Hey everybody, it's Rob from Flailthroughs. This is Gundam Breaker 2, and as requested ages ago, and again more recently, and apologies that I have not gotten to this before now, I'm going to do this week a set of just tutorials on the menu system. Because I know it's something a lot of people need, and, you know, it's overdue. And I apologize for not getting to it before now. I've gotten to most of the content in this game covered now, so except for the DLC and some of the optional stages, so it's time to move on to like the basic meat and potatoes stuff. I'm doing everything as backwards as usual. Okay, so from the left, this is the multiplayer setup counter. That's a little bit on the complex side. I don't understand it fully myself. I've only used it like once or twice with Seraphic Zeros. So this is the regular mission counter. Now, something you'll notice is it says press circle to get into this. This is not correct. On almost every counter in the game, you actually, if you're on a US PlayStation 3, you will press X to get into it. The exception being the shop. You actually do have to press circle to get in the shop. But we're going to start today with the setup counter. There's two of them. As far as I know, they are completely identical, but there they are. And we're going to go through these menus bit by bit and hopefully explain basically everything. Luckily, a lot of it is in English, not all, but enough to get you, started on understanding what everything is. As you can see, it gives you the serial number of the mobile suit in English and the type of weapons you're using, but not the actual name, which is in Japanese. So that's kind of a thing, but it's relatively followable until you get into certain scratch build menus, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. Hit R1 specification. From the top, it is, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I remember most of this. The top is, of course, armor, or hit points, rather. Next is physical attack, short range, melee attack, rather. Ranged attack, number of module slots, current parts cost, and capacity is the last one above detail specification. Specifications are physical attack defense, physical attack block, beam attack defense, and beam attack block. As you can see, since the Superior gun does not have a shield, its regular and beam blocks are 0, but it has fairish defense, 35% defense. Seem worse. Below that is, I'm not sure exactly what the speeds are. They're all speed ratings. First is, I want to say, the top, they're movement and evade, but I'm not sure which is which. Below that is boost speed, and the number below that, which, just to keep you, on the right spot with me, 16,080, is thruster capacity. The one below that, not actually sure. So, apologies on that. And then the last number is, I believe, a percentage chance, percent chance of knocking off parts. I believe it's just basically a bonus you get to your chances of any given attack separating part. Okay, this screen... I've never actually seen this screen before, so I am... Okay, these are the... I can actually make out most of this, wow. These are the effects given by your skills and any modules and things you may have. Which is, top one is health plus 9,000 from the skills that the S Gundam has, and any modules I may have. First, below that, I believe is melee attack bonus. Below that is ranged attack, or is all of that wrong? I don't know. I'm sorry. But below that is thruster capacity plus 1,500, then boost plus 7%, and this might be a speed movement, but at any rate, also it seems to have a health bonus of plus 2% in addition to the flat 9,000 bonus. The plus 6% is long rifle damage. I can make that out. EX charge rate percent plus a 0.5%. option charge rate plus a 0.5%, and I believe that's chance of items or number of items drop plus 3, which mostly is going to occur with aces, I think. Also, other skills, yeah, those two skills are the skills from the feed forward module, and I'm not sure which part gives the +5 bonus to the Alice system, but yeah. So yeah, this is the basic specs, and if you hit L2, it'll show you the effects of your other parts. So now let's go to, down through the menus one by one. Luckily, most of this is in English. As you can see, most of the same specs are in the same places, so you can get a pretty good idea of what a part does by, what it is and where it goes. And of course, it'll tell you, even if you can't make out exactly what the weapon is from the text, you'll be able to see what it looks like. And by bringing up R2, you'll be able to see the weapon skills, specs, and what series it's from. Or actually what mobile suit it's for, excuse me, not what series it's from. The main text under two-handed sword in this case is Giant Beam Sword, and below that is the Gundam X. The mobile suit is actually 4. To close the menu, this little window so you can actually see your mobile suit again, you hit Select. Triangle will give you different methods of sorting the different categories to sort things by. To set category 1, you press X. To set category 2, you press triangle. And to set category 3, you press square. I have mine sorted by category, as in, weapon type in this case, then level, then ID, which I'm not sure on that one. Might be name, might not. But the other stats are, I think, name, I want to say power, and cost. I'm sorry I'm vague on some of this, but I don't know it all. I do my best, but I don't know it all. But yeah, you press, incidentally, square to bring up, you press triangle, to bring up the sort menu. That was the filter menu, and I've never actually seen it before in my life, so I'm not sure how you use it, and we'll just leave that for another day. Needless to say, you can get by without it if I've never actually seen it before and, thus did not know what it is. I guess there's probably another way to sort weapons, because if you press start, you can filter weapons, or you can mark weapons with a little heart as to the ones you like the most. So, if nothing else, it'll be a way to, see them at a glance as you scroll down the incredibly long list of gear. But yeah, the other categories, of course, melee weapon, head, body, and the sort criteria are slightly different, as you can see, for each part based on what those parts can actually affect. Name, ID, not sure, level, number of hit points, which is my top criteria at the moment, physical and ranged attacks, I believe, module slots, cost, defenses, and things like that for head. But it's all fairly straightforward. You equip parts. If you have enough capacity, you can use the parts. It will warn you if you are over capacity or if you do not have enough module slots for the modules you have equipped. As you can see, module slots down there, I'm full up. EX actions. This is a tricky thing with this. When you change any of your weapons, it will probably unequip any even remotely related EX actions and the burst action, even though, as far as I can tell, you can use Arbiter Breaker even if you don't have any weapons equipped at all. But it will still unequip that, so basically, anytime you change any weapons on this, you better check your EX actions or you may be in trouble. Options, which are, you have a selection of both built-in things, which are blue, and okay, no, it's just the repair kit that's green. Everything is blue, never mind. But yeah, you have things which, you'll be able to see by the little icons on the right what parts of your mobile suit give you that particular item. And then there are ones you can just buy from the shop that have limited uses. And as far as I can tell, there's no way to replenish them without dying, but they are other weapons you can take with you. And you actually have a lot of option slots in this now. To get to them is actually kind of tricky to do in, in the game because it doesn't pause or when you go into this menu that I've seen. So these main three on the directionals are easy, but to get to these others on the radial, you have to hold down one of these directions until it brings up the radial menu while you're still being fired at generally, and swap to these one of these other weapons. So basically anything you really need and really want, put on one of these 4 easy hot swaps, and then anything else you want to play with possibly put on the radial for use later. And I backed out of that whole menu. But actually that's okay. Okay, next we are going to take a look at the Scratch Build menu, which Scratch is where you go to upgrade your parts. Each Scratch Build has certain requirements. For example, this is anything you had in Gundam Breaker 1. If you had a Gundam Breaker save file when you started this and you imported, you will get level 0 parts. As you can see, they aren't very strong at all. They're just basically there so you can start the game with whatever mobile suit you want, and then you'll start getting real things that do real damage, and you will not want to use them again. Almost anything you level up requires various plastics and carbons, which there's no easy way to tell, if you have them or not, except going to the menu and seeing what the numbers on the right mean. Because it's Japanese, and Monster Hunter's the same way, the number on the left is the number in your inventory, and the number on the right is the number that you need. So to make this, which is the Sinanju's Beam Axe, I need 2 special CAD chips to make it, plus 2 of the high-end carbons and 10 of the high-end plastics and 37,000 GP. Okay, let's make that, just to show you. You just press X, you press X again, and it is made. Okay, now, every weapon does not necessarily, but can have a series of abilities and a series of scratch build options. Sinanju's axe has abilities, and if you keep leveling it up enough, which I'll take a couple stabs at to see if any of them turn up before I run out of money, you will see the abilities appear, and the abilities can then be upgraded. Break repair, so every time you break a part off, you get about 1.2% of your health back. And upgrading abilities requires ability batteries. And there are 3 ranks of these, and generally, like, the first 3 or 4 ranks take an increasing number of battery 1, the next few ranks battery 2, and then everything after that from rank 7 upwards is battery 3, which of course are increasingly difficult to find. So, but let me show you. Okay, this is a good example. It doesn't have, this is the Gyaradoga's Beam Sword Axe. It does not have its ability unlocked yet, but any part you level up to 2 or greater can be scratch built into something else. Well, that's not quite correct. Any part that can be scratch built into something else, you have to get to level 2 or higher to be able to do it. That's the correct way to say that. I'm sorry. You can make this into the Dryson's Beam Tomahawk. But here's the trick about scratch building, and I'll show you because I haven't used this axe in a while. It's not important. Every scratch build you do requires the parts used in the right window. In this case, 6 axe-based M2s, 2 high-end carbons, 4 high-end plastics, and 100,000 GP. You can make that, but it also costs you the part. So, just like other games of this type, you'll see the Beam Sword Axe. I only have it in high grade now because that was a separate thing. The MG is gone. So, there are things that you're gonna have to upgrade, like up the tree to get certain beam rifles. Like, I believe one of the Blue Destinies at least has a beam rifle which is identical to the Gundam ground types. Let's check that. I can show you. Why am I talking? Why am I telling when I could show? Okay, okay, rifles. Let me find it's a pretty long list at this point. F91. Ah, yeah, Blue Destiny 3. As you can see, it's a perfectly ordinary looking Gundam ground type rifle, but the stats are different from your average ground type rifle. But just so you see, yeah, it can be upgraded from to the Gundam Alex's rifle. So one possible path to get the Gundam Alex's rifle, if you are set on doing that, is to start. Do I have everything I need to show this? I'm sure I do. I just have to read as I go. Did I never remake the Gundam's rifle? At any rate, you have to get a ground type Gundam rifle. You have to, which I have down here. That I do have. You have to make a standard Gundam, original Gundam beam rifle, which you can then upgrade to either, in this case, Blue Destiny 3, Stark J-Gun, or Jesta. But, so yeah, you have to go from regular Gundam to ground Gundam to Blue Destiny 3 to Alex. That is one path to the Alex upgrade. So you're going to be doing a lot of parts grinding if you want to get specific weapons, especially. Because you can get parts any other ways, but weapons and shields have to be built. Now, here's the thing about this. I totally lost my train of thought as to the thing about this. Here it is. This is where knowing katakana can be very useful, because if you don't know what the picture of or what the name of your mobile suit looks like in Japanese. This is the Jesta, in parentheses, for record. This is the Stark J-Gun, and of course this is Blue Destiny 3. If you don't know that, if you don't know what the name looks like, you do not get a picture of the weapon until you go to upgrade it. So you will not know what you're making unless you can read katakana until you've made it. So look up some katakana charts, look up some Gundam names. Look, do as much research as you have to do to know what you're building. Because let me take you now to the next section, which is weapon build. Now, just like all the other parts you got from Gundam Breaker 1, any weapons you have carried over back here in Assemble will show up as level 0s. So, GN Sword, I did not mean to equip that. Oh, well, I won't be saving this setup, so save. Triangles do not save, so that should go back to my previous weapon, and did. Okay, yeah, so if you have a weapon as a level 0 you're trying to make, you'll have to go in through Scratch and find it there. But if you don't have the weapon, you're going to the weapon build menu, which has 3 different sections: melee, ranged, and shields. Because basically shields count, they're accessories, so you get the idea. It's from there, it's the same as Scratch building something. It shows you if you have enough parts, it shows you if you have enough money. For example, this is Gundam Exia's GN Sword in master grade size. And yeah, you just have to, I have the correct CAD chip for that, I have the other parts, I have the money, so I could make it. Anything in red, you can't make for some criteria or another, and whatever the criteria is you're missing will be in red, so at least you'll know what you're shooting for. Okay, so let me just show you ranged weapons. Okay, I should have the Gundam's beam rifle according to this, because it's not showing up on the list. It's, it's a basic piece of equipment that everything uses, so it will show up here. For example, Zaku Bazooka, fairly basic. Mostly what you're going to are going to show up on the weapon build screen are a strange combination of very basic weapons and then unique weapons that can only be gotten with special CAD chips and special requirements like that. These GN bazookas, for example. I do not have any GN bazooka MCAD chips, so I cannot make either of them at the moment. The Dual Gundam's bazooka, the Gaybulk, I can make, but I don't have the money anymore. So yeah, that's how these screens work. So, basic MG Gundam shield. I haven't really made that yet, but again, just like the beam rifle, the Jim and Gundam shields will be the basis for a lot of stuff. So you will end up making a lot of those, and you'll end up, hoarding shield bases wherever you may need them, wherever you may find them. Okay, so that is it for today. Tomorrow, we are going to look at the paint menu and its many options, and then we will move on to one of the other counters. So, see you then!